All right. Good station old fashioned. I can't really remember when you came in, to be honest. It's towards the end of class, I thought, before it showed the video of those two guys with the smell of air. You want to hit the backlight then, Raven? Thank you. Yeah, that's, yep. What is the rap attack? It's for lunch today.
No, that's really what I asked.
I don't know.
I don't know what's before it. No, I don't think
Oh no, it says rap. What's up, Raven?
I put in gestation.
Ah.
probably like getting dust.
What's up? You finished? Yeah, go ahead. All right, so what do you have here? Olfaction. What does that mean? What does that mean? Haley, what does olfaction mean? Sense of smell. Good job. Good job. And where's that perceived in the brain? Okay, all right. The olfactory bulb, which is close to the limbic system. All right, so it can share obviously memory, motion with that. So with the olfactory bulb located uh, associated with the limbic system and the sensory cortex. Good, good, awesome. Gustation. What do we have for gustation here? Raven, what do you have?
I have that sensation of smell.
Gustation?
Sensation.
Taste. Yep. Good, good. So taste. Good. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday and how with taste buds over time, they could be damaged depending on maybe alcohol use, smoking, obviously, and even old age, right? Even extreme heat. So maybe if you drink a hot substance or eat a hot substance, maybe that could burn your taste buds. And for a short time, you might lose your sense of taste. Right? COVID-19, losing your sense of smell and taste, just perceiving those senses. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. But anyway, olfaction gustation, we talked about it yesterday and how maybe we could be tricked. And yesterday, the video I thought was funny, a little bit ridiculous, but it just goes to show that maybe our senses could be tricked. And when we're trying to perceive what we're eating, what we're smelling, and I think it's interesting to know anyway. So those were two examples where especially our brain could be tricked in perceiving what we're trying to eat and what we're smelling. Another one is what we talked about, well, what I showed at the beginning of class here with the Punisher scene, just with hearing the sensation of the meat burning and thinking that his back was obviously being torched. And he was smelling it, obviously the meat being burnt and the smell coming from it. And he thought just with his touch, right, the touch of the popsicle on his back, he thought he was actually being tortured. And it just goes to show, depending on certain circumstances, we could be perceiving and some stimulus that might trick our brains, right? It might be misunderstood, and it might be hard for us to detect exactly what is our surroundings, right? What is our what is occurring around us. All right, is there any questions on gustation and olfaction? Good. All right, terms for today. Like I said, I want to try to finish up tomorrow with Gestalt psychology and some of the principles, some of the laws. And then I'd like to have the test Friday. That would be great. And we can just move on those 3 days next week with the movie. All right, I talked about kinesthetic sense yesterday, but I don't know if I had it as a vocab term. Here we go. Here we go. So we're going to vocab now. All right, what do we have for gate control theory? Hadley, what do you have? Yeah, good job. Good job. So we'll talk about this more today and how, in some cases, we can actually block pain by just really thinking about other forms of stimulation, how we can actually perceive and block out pain. It's hard to do, but we can block it out by just altering our selective attention. Okay. Good, good, good. Bottom up processing. What do we have? Caitlin, what do you have for bottom up processing? Okay, good, good. So grouping all that information together, you're not focusing on small characteristics. Okay, you're grouping it all together to perceive what you're visualizing. Right, you're not breaking it down. And I have a few examples today with some illusions where this could maybe alter our perception depending on what we're focusing on. All right, top down processing. What do we have here? Kiara, what do you got? Okay, Christian, what do you got? Top down, yep.
Processing involves the brain sending down or stored information and sensors method received.
Okay, all right, yeah. So you're focusing a little bit more on some of these smaller, minute details, and you're relating it back to our experience, relating it back to maybe what we associated before when we may have visualized an image. Okay, it's not something new that we're trying to perceive all at once. Our mind just shifts towards what we experienced before, and it's taking in this visual stimulation or whatever it might be. Maybe it's auditory, and we're just associating it with something we already experienced in a previous time. All right, good, good. So I have a few examples of that then today as we're going through the notes here. All right, so I want to start with gate control theory, a way of blocking out pain. All right, so kind of what froze on me. All right, give me a second. It's too much. All right, back to there we go. All right, so the gate control theory is just a way of blocking stimulus to our brains and blocking this perception of pain. Okay, it's really hard to do, and many people might have a stronger pain tolerance than others. But in ways, you actually can shift your selective attention when receiving pain or when receiving any type of neural impulses that are detecting pain to your brain. The way it happens is, well, there's two connections to our really our sensory cortex where we're receiving and perceiving this type of pain. And yeah, Advil, certain medication can prevent this. And actually, that's how it happens. It inhibits the one side, the one reception to your brain that is perceiving this type of stimulus or receiving this pain. So the gate control theory is just this ability to divert our selective attention when feeling any type of pain or any type of stimulation that might perceived as pain. All right. So again, many people have different forms of ability to block out pain. They might have a stronger pain tolerance than someone else. But again, it's just how we can divert our selective attention. A good example, I had another video for you, but it's really hard to show, especially with recording. You guys ever see the movie Major Pain? Yeah. So in the beginning, this man got shot up in war. And he's like, oh, my legs, my legs. And he comes over. It's just like a funny scene. He goes, oh, do you want me to take your attention away from the pain? He's like, yeah, on your leg. So he grabs his hand and breaks his finger. So And then the guy's like, oh, my finger, my finger. It's like, oh, told you, it works every time. And he walks off. It's like, okay, that's kind of funny. But again, it's just a way to try to convert our selective attention to something else. Okay, and that's what the gate control theory really is. And again, medications used to try to help alleviate pain and issues with that, and how this might try to hinder this neural connection to the brain. Obviously, it wears off after some time, and we might feel this pain, this sensation, when our selective attention is diverted back. But this is ability to maybe block out some pain receptors. All right, so this was the experiment kind of I was going to do with you guys. Usually I have like soda. Okay, I use soda to see if you can taste the difference between soda or like Bean Boozle. It's kind of fun to do, but because of time purposes, we're just going to keep moving on. So perception, already went over that, is just the mental process that elaborates and assigns meaning to incoming sensory patterns. I already talked about that. And we talked about many locations within the brain where this occurs. Okay, so with vision, talk about the occipital lobe. Okay, with hearing, talk about the temporal lobe. Right, with sensing any type of pain or touch, sensory cortex. Okay, and we mentioned a lot about that already. Receptive language, Wernicke's area, temporal lobe. All right, so describe the picture. What do we see here? What do we see here? This is another perception activity. What do we see? Raven, what do you see?
People riding horses and a bunch of faces around.
Oh, you see the faces? Anybody not see the faces until now? Kiara, do you see the faces?
Oh, one right on.
Oh, okay.
There's one, two, three,
There's a bunch.
No, I see the one around.
Yeah, there's a
I'm
ton.
counting 15.
You're counting 15? There's a lot more than that. There's about like 26 or 27.
Faces?
We're not going to really focus on it, but yeah, I need to keep moving on. But this picture again is just what is drawing our attention. Okay, since we're talking about selective attention, since we're talking about perceiving information, it again sometimes could be tricked. And this is moving into the illusions, which we're going to be talking about here soon. There's a lot of them. Again, maybe you guys can check it out on your own since I posted PowerPoints for you on Canvas. But there's a lot of faces in there. There's a lot. But what draws your attention first, Raven? What really stuck out to you at first? The two people riding their horses. Well, the one person riding a horse, and the other horse.
Well, from my angle, the first thing I saw was the face on the right side.
Oh, okay.
And I saw the horse.
And then you saw the horse. Oh, so the faces stuck out to you first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What about you, Christian? What stuck out to you first?
I saw the face right behind the brown horse.
Oh, okay. So you didn't even see the horses first.
I did, but
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. So you guys remember talking when we mentioned figure and ground? Okay. Remember talking about figure and ground, the face and the bases? Yeah. All right. So again, it's what we perceive first. Right? It's something that sticks in our mind. It's really hard to perceive both images at the same time. It's really difficult to do. And then you can apply that to many, many different things with figure and ground. Maybe we once had a friend that helped us through some hard issues and some hard times. And maybe down the road, they might have turned their backs on us. So it's, well, how do we perceive that person now? Yeah, they helped us out through some hard times, difficult times, but at the same time, moving down the road, they might have caused a distrust with us. So how do we perceive that person looking forward? Can we trust them anymore? It's very difficult to do. But at face value, when you're looking at it, you can kind of compare both together. Right, Kiara? Are you taking notes on your phone? This picture? Okay. All right, so top-down processing, we consider the title and direct our attention aspects that will give meaning to it. So if you see the title, obviously you're looking for eyes, you're looking for faces. All right, so again, that's associating your sense of your perception to something in the picture that is associated with eyes. Bottom up, lines, angles, colors, guy riding a horse. So if we don't see the title at first, we're going to be mostly perceiving, we're going to be looking for something that makes sense to us. We're not going to look at the hidden meaning behind pictures. We're not going to look at maybe the subliminal messages behind these pictures, which we know as the faces. But if the title is shown to us, well, we're going to really first glance at that picture. And this is really a description of the top-up process or top-down processing, bottom-up processing, what I just mentioned. So again, if you see a title, if something is directing your attention to something in the picture, you're going to look for that first. Okay, you're going to look for that first. You guys ever play that? Where you guys ever look through those children books, I Spy? That used to be a fun thing back in the day. I used to dive into all the time, looking for certain objects within the picture, and it's really hard to pick them out, especially with the color, the background, and all these different types of objects that are placed in it to make it hard to perceive some of these objects we're looking for. Used to love those books, right, Christian? You ever play I Spy? Yeah, I Spy books. What's up?
Yeah, I only.
There's a bunch. There's a bunch. I mean, you got to really look for them. So anyway, the binding problem is when we're being stimulated by all aspects, right? When there's sound, when there's touch, when there's vision, when there's really all our senses occurring all at once. And this happens in an extreme activity, like a sporting event, right? Where we're trying to perceive all the stimulation at once. It's very difficult. It's to the point where we might actually stop, think about the situation, and then maybe move from there to try to react from it. Okay. Good example is when you're driving down the road. Maybe you're coming to a busy intersection. I usually listen to music or listen to a podcast when I'm driving. But when I'm coming to a busy intersection, for some reason, I always turn down the volume. Does it have an effect on the way I drive? No, not really. But for some reason, I think I'm just going to be more aware coming to a busy intersection when I'm turning down the volume. Anybody, does that ever happen to anybody? Kaylin, to you? Yeah. It's weird, but again, it's like, why do we do that? Right? It's not going to have any inability to our driving, but for some reason we just focus. We can select our attention to something like driving when all of our when the stimulation is coming down, like loud music or maybe loud sounds. All right, so inattentional blindness. Did I ever show you the moonwalking bear with the bouncing the ball? No?
I think we both did it.
I think I showed that in chapter 1.
You didn't show it to us, but I've seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll be a dead giveaway now. Maybe I'll show it to you at the end of class here. But you're supposed to count the dribbles of the basketball and or the passes. Sorry, the passes of the ball between the people in white shirts. And the whole time, this monkey kind of walks through. This guy dressed up in his monkey walks through the screen. It's like, oh, did you catch the gorilla walking through the screen? It's like, oh no, I didn't even see it. It's pretty funny actually. Change blindness, so failing to notice change in the environment around us. So a magic trick might be a good example, a card trick, right? Choice blindness is failing to notice a change in a previously selected item. So this might be something with someone getting a haircut. We might not notice it right away. Okay, I usually get always hammered by my girlfriend whenever she gets a haircut. Oh, what do you think? I got it dyed. Didn't even notice it. My bad. Right? Or if we're just ignorant to the fact, right? Maybe we don't have strong feelings for someone. Maybe we don't have a strong relationship with someone, and we just fail to notice it just because our attention's not shifted or geared towards that person. Does that make sense? Okay. So make sure you guys remember the 3 different types of blindness here. All right, illusions. So here is an important one, the Herman grid. So this works well with our vision, our perception with our rods and cones. So as you stare at the Herman grid, it looks like the white marks or the white circles inside the intersections, they kind of disappear when you try to visualize the whole screen, when you maybe focus your attention on one of those dots. Okay, some of the white dots actually turn black. And the reason for it is because our rods, well, they kind of share a connection to our auditory nerve, to our processing and understanding in our occipital lobe. It's very difficult to actually perceive it. And in a ways, it enters our blind spot. And where's the blind spot again? No, where's that blind spot? Okay, all right. What's up? Where's the blind spot at? Allison? Yeah, the optic nerve. Good job. And why does it appear as a blind? Well, you don't even see it. Why can't we visualize it? Well, there's no photoreceptors there, right? And in this case, well, when you're staring at a section here, an intersection, you can see the white, no problem. But around it, in our in our peripheral vision, we actually can see some of the black spots occurring. Caitlin, do you see that? Yeah, I just see you staring at your phone. So, guys, can you put your phones away, please? Like, this is kind of ignorant at this point. I mean, I don't really ask for much. All right, so again, with illusions, in this case, the firing occurs and it enters our blind spot. Okay, our rods aren't connected. It actually shares a connection to the optic nerve. Our cones have that direct connection, and we know cones are associated with what? Colors, right? Okay, rods more of shading, dark, okay, shapes, things like that. So this is how that illusion works, and it, for the most part, works for everybody. Other illusions. So this one is an important one, I think, is interesting. The line kind of looks like it's bent in half or it's broken. It's not like it's a continuous line, but in all reality, it is. The reason we perceive it as being broken is because there's no continuation of it, right? It looks like it is just broken. In all reality, it is continuing. It's continuing. And we'll talk tomorrow with Gestalt psychology, the law of continuation, okay? And how we are going to just try to perceive that line as being connected when we know it's broken with, let's say, a rectangle here. Here's another one. So law of proximity, depending on the objects that are located around this type of figure here, we all know the centerpieces, they're actually the same size. But when you're looking at the one on the left, it appears like it's smaller. It appears like it's, or sorry, it looks like it's larger. In all reality, they're the same size, the two circles in the middle. Here's another illusion here, the straight line in the middle. Okay, many people think the top image is actually smaller, it's shorter than the line below. In all reality, it's the same. It's just the way the angles at the end are shaped in instead of looking out. So it looks like the line at the bottom is a little bit longer. Here's another example, same image. Okay, they're just flipped in a different association. So looking at the law of similarity, okay, how these objects are actually the same. And when you just alter it, when you just focus it in a different direction, it looks like they're different images, they're different pictures when they really aren't. So again, other forms of illusions that might trick our mind. All right, here's some good ones. What do we see here? So up here, I don't know if you want to call it a magnet or whatever, but it looks like the middle leg of that object is not connected. Right? As you look back to it, it's not there. But we know there's three, I guess you'd say, cylinders appearing from that image. And I think that's a pretty cool one anyway. The elephant, how many legs does it have? Well, that's tough to see. Brittany, how many legs do you see on the elephant here? Yeah, it looks like it's a lot more than what it is. But again, just cutting the image and moving it forward, it looks and appears like he has more legs than in all reality, and obviously the 4 feet at the bottom. It looks like he has way more legs than what it looks like. What about this image in the bottom left? What do we see here? The bottom left. What do you see, Kiara? A guy with like glasses. Is that what you see? Anybody see anything different? So this is a type of illusion. I actually call it Rubin's illusion. This is the same guy that came up with the vase and the two faces to see exactly what you stare or what you perceive first. Right? What is in your figure? What is in your ground? What is appearing first? Actually says liar. Do you see liar? You see it now? Yeah, liar. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys all saw the face first. I saw the face as well first. What do we see in the middle? Bottom middle. Oh, do you see the guy playing the saxophone? Okay, good. Yeah, that one's a little tough to see at first, but yeah, I see the lady first. I see the woman's face. Did you? The saxophone. Okay. And he's really going to town on that thing. All right, what about here? Far right. What do we see? No, what do you see? Okay, like a younger woman with her head turned. Okay, what else do we see? Sorry. Brittany, what else do you see? It's an old lady. There's her big old nose. There's her like her mouth, right? There's her chin. There's her hair.
Oh, I see this one.
Kind of looks like Cruella de Vil in a way. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's all I have. See you guys later.